Welcome to this first indie game development video in a very long time. This is my indie game that I've been developing over the last 7 or 8 years. It's a very simple game and probably should have only taken two or 3 years to make, but what with real life and a full-time job in game development, it's just taken me forever to make any progress. I should probably have moved on to another game idea by now, but I think I'd feel guilty about all the effort and time I've put into this game. So the game is called Dead of Day, and it's a zombie dungeon crawler, very much like the dungeon crawlers from the 1980s and 1990s. I've moved engines a few times, which has added a lot of time to the development. I've written a few books, so I've lost time because of a variety of reasons. I started out using ClickTeam Fusion, then I got a bit annoyed at a few things that should have been straightforward but weren't, so then I moved over to GameMaker 2, which had a brand new interface, and I really liked the look of it. But I got a bit annoyed at that because of the lack of text support. I tried a bit of Unreal and Unity, but they're not really suited to 2D games. And so a few weeks ago I moved back to Fusion, whereby an update to the engine is coming which will solve some of my irritations with the Fusion engine. So the biggest challenge I've faced after starting back up again is to understand what I'd already written all those years ago and understanding how it works. I last looked at this code at least a year ago. Maybe even longer. So looking over the old code is confusing. It doesn't really help that some of the issues I'm facing in Fusion I'd already fixed in GameMaker, and so it's a bit annoying to redo the work that I'd already known that I've fixed in one engine and not the other, but I've got no choice if I want to use this engine. It's probably not a good idea to have two versions of the same game in two different engines at the same time, because swapping between them you'll get confused. The other big issue I face is there's very little, or should I say no, gameplay currently in the game. I've spent a lot of time and effort over the last few years just working on screens and menus and flow and the load save system. I think the core gameplay, or at least a good prototype, would have only taken me a couple of weeks or a month to get up and running if I'd have just made the effort, and just doing that would have helped me a lot more and probably would have motivated me. So as you can see in this video, I'm looking through the screens that I've got, replaying the game and seeing where I am in this build. The biggest issue I'm currently trying to resolve is the loading and save screen. So I'm going to be making a few videos hopefully over the next few months to try and motivate me to get to the next step, which has to be finishing the load save screen, getting past the cinematics which already exist, they're already set up, and making gameplay. So I've got some of this working in GameMaker. It's like typing a load of text and then losing it all and having to redo it. It's all very depressing, but hopefully once I'm past that point I can move on to something more interesting. So as I mentioned earlier, Fusion's got a new build coming that will allow me to remove and reorder global values, which is a big thing that I've used for this game. So it's a bit annoying. There's a lot of global values that I'm using. So these are values that are available throughout the whole game, and I have a lot of them over the time where I've been sort of developing and sort of adding them, and the problem is you can't delete them currently in Fusion. So once that's done I can tidy my game up a lot. To make the gameplay I really need to set up the data, but I need that sort of 5 or 10 minute gameplay. Hopefully making this set of game dev videos will motivate me enough to carry on and hopefully make more progress than I have in the last 7 years. I know there are other issues with the game. For example, the main menu is using some graphics that are performance heavy and can easily be optimized, but at this point why spend time on that when I really need to make gameplay? Hopefully I can finish off the load save system shortly, fix the flow issues that load into the introduction narrative cutscenes, and finally get around to gameplay. That's the thing my kids are always mocking me about for my game. I've done 2 shows at Eurogamer, 7 odd years on and off of game development, and I still have 0 gameplay. It's not a good way of attempting indie development. I should know better, but it is what it is. So hopefully I don't spend the next few years just fixing a menu button. Hopefully over the next few months you'll see some more videos and hopefully see some progress. If you want to continue watching these videos and see how I get on, make sure that you click the bell icon to get updates. Thank you.